Don't you ever say I just walked away. I will always want you. I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love. All I wanted was to break you off. All you ever did was wreck me. I came in like a wrecking ball. Yeah, I just closed my eyes and swore. Let me crashing in a blazing fall. All you ever did was wreck me. Yeah, you wrecked me. Yeah, you wrecked me.
Okay, so that's Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus. Love that song. I play it over and over. You know, some songs you just like and you play it over and over. That's one of the songs I play over and over lately. Anyway, welcome back to Brain Purge. So we are talking tonight about whatever's on my mind. That's what Brain Purge is all about. So I was thinking, I had several things I want to talk about. One thing was, we were talking about in the chat room a second ago, steroids, because somebody in the chat room is on steroids. Remind me to tell you about the story, by the way, about this kid when I was a teenager, because I'll forget. Anyway, and yeah, prednisone is a horrible, horrible, horrible drug. Oh my fucking God. I had to take it for 5 days. It was a 5-day thing for me too, Nikki. And I had to take it for 5 days because I was an allergy thing. I had major allergies one season about 3 years ago, and maybe 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And he kept giving me different prescriptions that wasn't really helping, and so it's like my body was attacking itself, you know. So he gave me this prednisone, steroids supposed to help me at my lungs and whatever, or something. I don't know, something to do with my allergies or sinuses or something. And so anyway, he gave it to me, and I took it, and I was a fucking horrible bitch for 5 days. I mean, just a horrible, horrible mood, and it affects different people differently, right? But I was in a horrible, horrible mood, and I just felt like crap, and like I was going to climb the fucking walls. I had a lot of energy. I felt better, and my allergy issue had gone away mostly, but I just had a horrible, horrible reaction to it, and I felt like crap afterwards too. I just hated it. So I will never take prednisone again. It just did me bad, did me wrong. So I won't be taking it again, but I hope that you get better for whatever you're taking it for, and I hope it helps you feel better, because that's the point of it. So when I was a teenager, about 15, 16 years old, I had talked to this guy online. Actually, it wasn't online. We had actually met on where did we meet? I'm trying to remember where we met. I think we met, okay. So do you remember like in the 90s, especially in the early 90s, like 1990 or somewhere in that range, they had those phone lines, those party lines you could call, you know. Well, they had gay ones and they had straight ones. And I called this gay one all the time. I was like 15 or 16 years old. And I would call there and I'd meet guys on there, and I met guys my own age on there all the time. And cause they had like under 20, under 18 room, and they had like, you know, the men's rooms or whatever. Anyway, so I would meet guys my own age on there all the time, and we'd just talk and whatever. I'd make friends that way. So one guy I met on there, we became friends and whatever, and he and I became really good friends. We talked every single day, and we had not met or anything for years, probably for 3 years, all the way through high school. We talked and he actually lived about 20 miles away from me, in the opposite side of the city of Dallas. I lived on the east side, he lived on the west side, and so in the suburbs. And so he and I became really good friends, and we talked a lot, whatever, right? And we talked about everything to each other. We had each other's addresses, we wrote each other, everything, but we never met. And so finally, he was on his debate team in his high school, as was I. And it ended up that we were both going to be at the same tournament for the same weekend. And so we ended up saying, oh my gosh, we have to meet. And so, okay, we will. And so we went to this tournament, whatever, and we met. We did not meet, I'm sorry. We went to this tournament, and I was having I was in one of my debate things, whatever. You had to go in a room when you debated somebody else, and there was a judge there or whatever. Anyway, and so I was in there, and one of the girls in the room who was watching us, she said her name was Kelly or something like that, and I can't remember her last name, but she said, I'm sorry, my name's Kelly, blah, blah, blah. And I knew her. She was like one of his best friends, and they apparently went to the same high school, that we were at. And so I was like, oh my God. I said, do you know Kurt? And she's like, yeah, he's like my best friend, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh my God. She's like, yeah, I know him. So we talked, whatever. We got along great. Okay, so that was it. And then she left. She's out talking to Kurt. You said hi. I said, okay. And so I never saw Kurt. Okay, so after that, Kurt asked me, he asked her what race I was or whatever. He actually asked her, is he a mulatto or whatever like that? Did he look mulatto or something like that? That's the word he used. And because he knew that I was biracial, and he wanted to know what I looked like, if I looked more white or looked more black or somewhere in between or whatever. And she said to him that I didn't know I thought he was white, she said. He's like, oh, okay. And this is what I was told later. Well, anyway, so we talked on the phone after this, whatever. I said, I never saw you. He's like, I didn't see you either, but I asked my friend Kelly about you, and she said you look white, and that's great. I was like, well, what does it matter what I look like? I said, if you're, we're friends or whatever. I said, you want to date me or something? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, so if I looked more black, would you have dated me? He's like, I don't know. He's probably not, because I don't know what people would say about it, and blah, blah, blah. And he went on and on. And so it really hurt my feelings. And I was like, so we talked for years at this point, 3 years, and we had never met, as I said. But I was like, why does it matter what I look like? And so he began to, and I told him, I said, well, that pissed me off. And I basically told him, I said, well, that's shallow of you, whatever, and stupid. You're either attracted to someone you're not. It doesn't make what difference the race they look like or what race they are. You're either attracted to them or you're not. And we had a huge argument about it. And so he began spreading all these lies and these rumors about me that were completely untrue in his circle of friends. And we had mutual friends, right? And so he started to spread these lies about me and where I lived and where I was from and all this crap that was completely made up. And just because I kind of rejected him in a way, I guess. And so so we stopped talking at that point, obviously. Okay. So I didn't see him or think about it. When I say rumors, he was saying really, really mean, horrible, hateful things that I refused to repeat about me and about and things that were racist and things that were just horrible, okay? And so I decided to just not talk to him anymore, so I stopped talking to him. So then I went to SMU for my college, and my sophomore year at SMU, I was standing in the student lounge, and it was I turned around, we were waiting to see a movie, because they gave you like free movies as a student there or whatever, and I was waiting to see a movie in line. I was way up in the line, and I looked back towards the end of the line, and there was Kurt. I was like, oh my God. There's Kurt. And my friends were like, who's that? I was like, there's nobody, whatever. So I just ignored it. I didn't know who was going there or anything, right? So that's the only time I ever saw him. And then, anyway, so went through all that, whatever. He was still going around saying shit about me or whatever, apparently. So fast forward to about a month ago, right? And he and I was on Facebook, and I get an email or a message on Facebook, and it's from Kurt. And I'm like, oh my God, why is he messaging me? And he said he wanted to say hi, see how I was doing, blah, blah, blah. So I responded to him. I told him what my life was like, whatever, whatever. And he responded to me and said, I just wanted you to know that I was a real asshole to you in high school. And he said, I was really immature, and to tell you the truth, I was really, really jealous of you. I was really very jealous of you because you were handsome and you were popular and people liked you, and I told you I was popular, I told you this and that, and then I was thin and everything else, but actually I was overweight at the time, and I wasn't popular, nobody liked me, and blah, blah, blah. And so he told me all the stuff that he had gone through that I had no clue about, that had precipitated his reaction to me at that point in high school. And so, without going into all the detail, basically, he told me that everything that he said he didn't really mean. He just was jealous of me and whatever. And so it was hurt or whatever. And so I just was blown away by this. And it may not sound like a big deal, but the reason is because you go through your life and you look back on it at people in your lifetime, and you think about, people you've actually known and your relationships with them and the dynamics you had with them or whatever, throughout the time you've had with them, or whether it was good or bad or whatever. And you frame your friendship or relationship with that person in a certain way. And you think, well, this person was an asshole because this is how this person treated me, or this person was fucked up or fucked in the head or whatever. When in reality that may be true, but in reality there's always something behind it, I think. And it just made me realize that this guy, and he went through all this stuff he'd gone through, being sexually molested and being raped by a guy, and that we both knew, who was older than us or whatever at the time, and a lot of other crap he went through that I didn't know about, and had no way of knowing, and a lot of other crap. I can't go into all of it, but I'm trying to tell you that it was really, really stunning to me what he told me. And so I feel like people need to remember that when you look back on people who've mistreated you in your life, and someone like myself who's been mistreated a great deal in his life by people, and been people trying to stomp on me and trying to hurt me or trying to kill me, figuratively, and yet I'm still here. They always have some story of their own. And it's hard sometimes for us to remember that everybody has a story. Everybody has something behind their actions and why they act the way they do. You know what I mean? And so I try to have compassion for people, and try to have compassion for people who are evil or acting evil, rather. People who are actually acting insane or acting crazy or acting, or whatever the case may be, or treating you in a mean way. So, and I've kind of come to this conclusion anyway on my own to some degree before this, but I knew that, sorry, that was a security alarm, my security camera, sorry. I came to some conclusion on this before, but I recently just came to realize that, I have not been, I have now compassion for people who approach me in that way. I feel sorry for them. And I feel people who are trying to attack me or harm me or something, I feel sorry for these people. I feel sorry for them, and I feel like they should basically get help or whatever. And that's how I felt for quite a while now. But this particular situation just kind of reinforced the fact that, yeah, people are fucked up. Some people are fucked up, and some people act out, and not everybody's as well-adjusted as I am. I am a well-adjusted individual. I'm not perfect, of course, but I'm well-adjusted. I have my shit together, and I'm not crazy or mentally insane or, whatever. I'm a good guy, and I know this because I've worked on myself throughout time immemorial. I've worked on myself since the beginning of my life. Just naturally, just sort of looking at my life and saying, this is what I can fix, this is what I can't fix. So I accept the things that I can't change, and the things that I can change, I do. And the things that I can change, I work better on, whatever it may be. And this can apply to anyone. It can apply to anyone who's listening to this show. If you have something in your life that you want to work on, that you want to improve, whether it's your relationships with people, whether it's how you look, whether it's how you react to certain situations,